The first thing Aaron Mitchell noticed was the shoe. A tiny pink sneaker lay alone near the curb outside the downtown bus terminal in Columbus, Ohio, soaked from melting snow and trembling in the wind like it had been abandoned in a hurry. Then he saw the child standing 10 steps away, frozen, cheeks red, eyes wide with fear, clutching a backpack that looked too big for her small shoulders. In that instant, before reason or responsibility could stop him, Aaron felt the weight of a choice that would quietly change everything. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the unseen moments that shape our lives, take a second to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that one small act can echo forever. Aaron was a single father who had learned how to survive on routines. Wake before dawn. Pack lunches. Drop his 7-year-old son Noah at school. Work double shifts at a warehouse. Pick Noah up. Microwave dinner. Collapse into sleep. Since his wife, Rebecca, passed away 3 years earlier from a sudden illness, life had become a narrow hallway he walked through every day without looking left or right. Love still existed for him, but it lived almost entirely in his son. Everything else felt like noise he had learned to ignore. That morning, Aaron had been running late, already rehearsing the quiet guilt he would feel for missing Noah's school reading event later that afternoon. He had stopped at the bus terminal only to ask for directions to a different route, but fate had placed that lost child in his path. She was about 5, maybe 6, with curly brown hair escaping from a loose ponytail and tears balanced on her lashes, as if she had been holding them back for hours. No parent hovered nearby. No frantic voice called her name. The world moved around her, but she stood still, forgotten. Aaron approached slowly, careful not to frighten her, kneeling to her level, offering calm with his posture rather than words. She didn't run. She didn't cry harder. She simply stared at him with the exhausted relief of a child who had been waiting for someone kind to notice. He learned her name was Grace Thompson, that she had been separated from her mother during a crowded stop, and that she remembered only fragments of what came before. A red coat. A hand letting go. The feeling of being swallowed by strangers. Hours followed that Aaron never planned to give. He contacted terminal staff, waited with her through announcements that led nowhere, bought her hot chocolate to warm her shaking hands, and wrapped his own jacket around her shoulders. Each minute felt heavy with uncertainty, yet strangely meaningful. For the first time in years, Aaron wasn't rushing. He wasn't calculating time or money or exhaustion. He was simply present. As daylight faded, worry deepened. Grace grew quieter, her energy draining, her small body leaning closer to Aaron as if instinctively trusting him. He thought of Rebecca then, of how she used to say that love shows up unannounced and asks you to choose it anyway. He wondered what kind of man he had become since losing her, whether grief had narrowed him or hardened him. Sitting there beside a lost child, he felt something soften. Finally, near evening, chaos broke into relief. A woman collapsed to her knees when she saw Grace, tears streaming down her face as she wrapped her daughter into her arms. Her name was Hannah Thompson, and gratitude poured from her in broken waves. She explained how she had searched relentlessly, how fear had hollowed her chest with every passing hour. Aaron listened, quietly fading into the background, satisfied simply knowing Grace was safe. He didn't expect anything more than a tired thank you and a handshake. He didn't expect his life to intersect with theirs again. But kindness rarely ends where we think it will. 2 hours later, after dropping Noah home with a neighbor and apologizing for missing the school event, Aaron received a call from an unknown number. He almost ignored it. When he answered, Hannah's voice trembled with urgency. She explained that she worked for a non-profit foundation that partnered with local companies, and that during the search for Grace, a security officer had overheard Aaron mention his warehouse job, the layoffs looming, and his struggle as a single father. The officer, moved by Aaron's patience and care, had shared his name with a board member who happened to be present that day. By the next morning, Aaron was sitting in an office he never imagined entering, surrounded by people who spoke about stability, opportunity, and long-term growth. The foundation partnered with a logistics company that needed supervisors, people with integrity and resilience. They offered Aaron a position that paid nearly double his current wage, with hours that allowed him to be home every evening. Health benefits. College savings assistance for Noah. A future that didn't feel like survival anymore. Aaron walked out into the cold air stunned, his breath visible, his hands shaking. He had helped a lost child because it was right, not because he expected reward. Yet here he was, holding a chance he hadn't dared to hope for. Life changed quickly, but not magically. Aaron still carried grief. Still missed Rebecca. Still woke some nights wondering how to be both mother and father to Noah. But now, he had space to heal. He attended Noah's school events. They cooked dinners together. They laughed more. Aaron began volunteering occasionally with the same foundation, telling no one his story, simply paying forward the grace that had found him. Months later, he ran into Hannah and Grace at a community park. Grace ran toward him, healthy and bright, her laughter ringing through the air. Hannah thanked him again, but this time with calm instead of desperation. Their lives had continued, just as his had, forever linked by one moment of compassion. Aaron realized something profound then. That day at the bus terminal hadn't just been about finding a lost child. It had been about finding himself again. About remembering that even broken people can be vessels of hope. That even in grief, love still flows. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that kindness still matters and that goodness often returns when we least expect it, please take a moment to like, share, and engage with this video. Your support helps stories like this reach others who need encouragement today. Before the ending, we have one special request. Please comment below with a single word that represents what this story made you feel. Your words help build a community rooted in compassion. Aaron still passes that bus terminal sometimes. The curb has been repainted. The crowds still rush. But whenever he sees a child's shoe untied or someone standing alone, he remembers how one small pause rewrote his future. And in a world that moves too fast, he chooses, again and again, to stop. Because sometimes, when you help someone find their way home, you discover your own life waiting for you on the other side.